All right. Welcome back to the World Pass. The season is here, and the first weekend gave us everything. Shockers, statements. At least one club is already in crisis. We know which one it is. Fast intro. Your name, your club, one word. How are you feeling about the first week of Premier League back? We start with Napo.
This is Napoleon with MANCITYQUE, my team, Manchester City. First week, very interested, I would say, across the board. That's the only word I can use. Very, very interested.
All right. I'll go with Dr. Ken himself.
Yeah, you played up to Cam, current Premier League champions, Arsenal. It's been a very nice weekend, full of drama, as we expect. It's Premier League. And, we look forward to, ongoing matches.
All right. Without further ado, we'll jump straight in to our topic today. Why don't I start with Manchester United? Back in the Champions League, new era under Michael Carrick permanently. A few big signings, and they lost to newly promoted side All City. Napo, what do you think? Do you think it's the kicker? Because mind you, in that match, Man United actually had the highest, possession, and still ended up losing the match. Do you think it's just going to be a one-time off, or it's a lucky break for All City, or Manchester United were just trash on that day?
Possession don't mean nothing in football these days. It's,
Fact.
you have to win. You have to get that 3 points. If you want, you have to scramble and get that 1 point. And I feel like Manchester United did not come close to any of that. They didn't try to get that 1 point. They didn't try to win. Some people might have other opinions about it, but if you're gonna spend that kind of money, you have to win. If you're gonna be spending that kind of money on the players that you bought, you have to deliver. Baleba is coming in, and that fee is not gonna be an easy amount. How much they're paying for him, so there is a lot of work to be done from their end.
Dr. Ken, speaking about Man U, do you think they still need to sign more people, or you think the signings they have are just terrible signings?
I mean, I wouldn't really call it a terrible signing. I mean, if you followed Manchester United the entire preseason game, one thing is certain, they used their youth players, right? And this is all down to the fact that the senior players were not back on time, right? So,
Okay.
yeah, like Napo said, position doesn't mean anything because we've seen all these big teams dominate and these smaller teams set up low blocks. So you kind of expect between Hull City and Manchester United, who's going to dominate the game is obviously Manchester United, right? So, but what matters at the end of the day is the scoreline, right? But I'm not making excuses for Manchester United. Did they show up on that day? No. But I'm going to give them a pass because it is the first game and most of these players did not play in the preseason. So it'll take a little bit of time. Telemans need to, understand how Manchester, this is his first game. Literally, he didn't play any game in preseason. So most of these new guys are coming into a system that they're going to learn. So it's going to take a little bit of time to adapt, right? But I expect next game for them to sit up because, like I said, 6 points in Premier League is a big deal.
I
When
mean,
you start trading,
if you think about it, how many players from that team are new players that played that game?
There's something I wanted to ask you, Napo.
Yeah.
We're in 2026, and let's look at the back line of Manchester United. 2026, they still have Maguire, Luke Shaw, Dallo. Who else again? Mazarawi.
right?
Like in 2026, those are your starting defender.
I mean, don't forget to have Lisandro Martinez, right?
So this is what I'm talking about, right? Like most teams are looking to upgrade their defense, either buying one or two players. But Manchester United has been stuck with the same defense for the longest period of time. Because most of the players that started their defense in that last match have been playing for Manchester United for a long period of time.
True,
So
right?
you can't tell me that these guys don't understand their style of they're just trying to get used to how to play Premier League or getting used to how to play together.
Let me tell you something about that dynamics, right? I don't know if you guys came across that report that came out, I think a week before the opener. They were doing a financial statistics report of where all the current teams are in Premier League are right now. Right? Manchester City, Arsenal, I think Brighton, they were among the top people who have racked-in revenues, right? Across the board. So they are in way positive, right? And you see what Man City is doing right now. They are selling. They are selling. So that's a lot of revenues that goes into their books. Now, if you look at that statistics, you see that at the other end of that page is Manchester United. They are a couple of cents above red. So they will be looking at that their books. What have they won? What have they achieved? Right? So they are also at risk of getting into financial fair play from Premier League, right? You don't want to go
Yeah.
spend 80 million, 60 million. It's going to take a lot to upgrade that entire backline. I mean, they are, look how much did Arsenal buy Concert, right? So if you want to upgrade, you're going to spend about 200 million upgrading that entire backline. The question now is, does Manchester United really have that kind of funds? Looking at where they've been for the past couple of seasons, that's the question.
They'll probably have to go.
Y-
They will probably have to go and borrow it from bank or something.
You know, I was going
So
to
Napo, sorry,
when I said earlier how many players on that lineup are new players.
Mm-hmm.
See this number?
just two. Thank you.
Now,
Just
now,
two.
now, now, before I go any further, technically one, Andre Santos. Heaven is from academy. So you have an academy player that played for you, and then you have one of your new signings that played at your DM position. And also let me know if my network is acting up. Go ahead with that. But with the kind of team that you have, right? You play a game against Hull City, a newly promoted into the Prem, right? And the best thing you can do is lose 2-0. That's the best thing you could do that game, lose 2-0. You didn't tie. The best thing you could put on the field was taking 2 goals and 0 points with only one new signing that you bought on the field. That tells you a lot. And I was going to drag Man City into this, but I'm gonna get to that point a little bit later on. But I think Manchester United did not show up at all, and their coach, Carrick, their manager, yeah, what he did last season. Anyone that was trusting and believing
Fluke.
in that, they should put that in the trash because this season tells you so far a lot is about to happen to that team.
Dr. Ken, do you have anything to say for yourself? Or you think that Pooh is right? Because mind you, me, I do believe that Carrick had that, that new manager bounce that Man U always gets when a new manager comes in mid-season. For a reason, Man U always have that ginger. I felt they should have actually gone to the market to get a good manager of a caliber of manager that fit their starters. But they took Michael Carrick because he brought them to the Champions League.
I mean, if you look at it, you've got to give this man a credit, right?
Fair enough.
Look at where Manchester United was last season. These guys were 17th on the table, right?
Yeah.
And they sacked, what's the guy's name again? The
Amorim.
Amorim. They sacked him, put Michael Carrick. Now, don't forget, Michael Carrick might not be a Manchester United legend, but he's their man, right? He knows what it takes to wear that jersey, right? So is he the right man for the job? Does he have the right experience? I mean, I can say that about Arteta, but look where Arteta is now, right? There are so many coaches that came in with zero experience in the Premier League that, surprised us. Now, Carrick is one of them. He came in at the time Man U was struggling.
Right.
I won't say no manager bounce because they had that what do they call it, honeymoon phase. They had it and they survived it and they've marched on to the end of the season. Mind you, Man U was unbeaten. They've played 5 games unbeaten towards the end of the season, right? They were unbeaten. Like I said, it's these guys that he played. I would have thought that you played preseason with your youths. They didn't do that bad, right? They just needed a little bit of old player experience to, inject in the team. I would have stuck with those guys because he must have passed on 1 or 2 tactics to them during this preseason. They understand the system. I would have stuck with them in the opening game. I mean, it's Hull City, for crying out loud. Stick with them, right? And then gradually introduce the likes of Telemans, the likes of Andre Santos into the game, maybe a second half, right? If you watch that first half, because I watched the game, if you watch that game, you will see that everything came down to the fact that these guys were lacking fitness. Telemans couldn't run. People were making memes saying he runs like a guy in high school. You can imagine that kind of thing. And it's all down to fitness, right? And you have a player like Rashford. this point I'm going to make now is the same point I made in the video that I made about Man City before they started, the game against Bournemouth. How can you have a player like Rashford and you have a player like Matthias Cunha? These are two potentially left wingers, even though Cunha can play as a 10, but
Right.
he's predominantly also fit to play left wing. How can you have two left wingers and then you're playing Brian Mbeumo as a striker? You have a potent striker in what's it called? Help me, Benjamin Sesko.
Sesko.
Right? You're playing against a low block. I would have thought bringing this guy early in the second half, start pumping crosses into the box, right? Because how do you break down a low block? You don't have Bruno Fernandes did not play preseason, so he's rusty, right? So I will give him time. I'll let these players that just came back from their break to integrate properly, to settle. I will start counting him as a bad coach after 4 or 5 games. But Premier League is very brutal. If you lose another game and people like Brighton, people like Arsenal win their next game, that's 6 points gap, right? And I'm sure some of you will say, "Oh, it's too early, too early, it's too early." But that's how the league runs away from you. Before
But
you know it, you start playing catch up,
I mean,
right?
how can you say you would classify him as a good or bad manager after 5 games when he played last season, like almost half of
I have my
last season?
reservations on him because he
No,
took Man U where they were all the way to Champions League.
and
Mind you,
guess
Chelsea was
and guess what?
also was in that.
And guess what? That's the same manager that is losing to Hull City. So
Thank
in
you.
as much as you want to put certain criteria to justify what you want to say, still don't mean anything. Why? Because that's the same manager that took that team to
Mhm.
Champions League and is losing to Hull City.
The same manager that is losing to Hull City is the same manager that beat Pep and stopped Ateta's unbeaten run.
It doesn't
Don't
matter.
forget.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Doesn't
matter.
matter.
Do you know?
All I'm
Listen. Do you know what I say? It doesn't matter.
Anything can happen. But what we count shouldn't be one match. We should count consistency. So
Yes,
give him 4 games and then you can judge his
but
progress.
wait, didn't you give him 4 games last season?
And he delivered.
Okay, so why do you still need to give him
Why
4 more
is it not
games?
continue? Well, thank
I
you.
gave him a pass for this game because these guys
Why?
that he played much, none of them played preseason.
But what do
So
you?
they are rough
But these are guys that have been playing for that team since last year.
and rusty.
Only one player on that starting lineup, only one single player has not played for Manchester United in 3 years. All the players that you see in that field, they've all been playing for that team for the last 3 years. So in as much as you want to give a baseline and you want to give your rebuttal and you want to give your points, still doesn't matter. It's like telling me this your Arsenal team plays against, who did you guys play again? What's their name again? Coventry. And then you guys lose. Would you?
I will be pissed off.
Hold on. Would you tell me? Would you say to give Arteta a pass?
No. I will be pissed off because he has stopped there years. That's a completely different ball game. He
But
has a structure.
but
The
guess
whole
what?
world has.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
Carrick started the season with players that did not play preseason. There's a little bit of match fitness. There's a little bit of rustiness. That's all I'm saying. Give him 1 or 2 more games, and then I can start my,
Ken,
yeah.
Dr. Ken, with all due respect, I feel like that's your take on this topic. K-leg. And I'll tell you the reason why.
I'm beginning to sound like I have a special love for Man U, right?
Yes, you are. Because let's call a spade a spade. Carrick has had a longer time than most managers on the list right now, except from Arteta. He has had a longer time to drill his system. And what Napo was saying, that most of those players understand the way Carrick plays. So there's no excuse of they are trying to understand the system, because you had time you played the same system. You use it against us now. The same system you use it against Man City. You use it to get your 5 games run. Do you get what I mean? You got to the Champions League. All you have to do is just continue.
But don't you think fitness had a role in the game?
So who didn't come back early, except from Belgium, Tillemans? Who else? Everyone came back early. They played preseason.
But see, you guys are saying certain things about fitness. You guys are saying certain things about this and that. Don't forget, okay? Do not forget. These guys are human beings, but that is their profession. Okay, they live
True.
and breathe football every single year. Just like how you're a doctor, just like how you are, a social worker or you are whatever in your life. That is their job. So if you go and you're not match fit, who do you blame it on? Do you blame it on the fans? No. You blame it on the coaching staff and the manager and the hierarchies who did not do their job. And that's what they didn't do. They didn't do their job. And guess what? It goes across the board for any team. Look at Mourinho. Do you see how happy Mourinho was when they won?
What?
It's all about expectations. It's all about
Yeah.
setting the tone for the
Yeah.
team, right? And he did not. Now maybe that's like you said, that's three points. It's very big in the Prem. 3 points is very big, and they've lost it. Now they got to
Now,
pray that
but
somebody else, lose their own 3 points so
so
that they can catch up.
before we move, I wanted to throw in something there, Napo. This Tillemans and Bruno that we are giving them pass for not for preseason. They played World Cup. So what were they doing in World Cup?
I'm
Were they
not
just
giving them
jogging?
no pass, so I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm talking to Ken.
I was the one
No, I'm
giving
talking.
him.
No, I'm talking to the reason why I'm asking is because you should understand that these guys played World Cup. So the break they had was not long. So that means
Okay.
their match
Let me
fitness should still be there.
let me break the psychological part of it.
And one
Right?
second, one second. Let me just
Okay.
add one more. Let me add one more caveat to it. As Napo said, you also have to blame the coach. You know why? Because the coach knew that they were not match fit and he still chose them.
Exactly.
True.
True.
You have a point.
Exactly.
So it's not the player's fault. So let's not blame the
It's
players.
in the beginning, remember I said where I faulted it was you started the preseason, a whole chunk of your preseason, you played it with your youth setup. And then first game of the Premier League, you send back your youth and then you bring in these men because of that experience, right? And then it backfired. So I'm not giving him a pass for that. That was his first mistake. Now, the psychological part of what I was going to break down is just like what you said. Yes, these players have a job to do. Yes, if the things go wrong with them, so and so. But don't forget, just like Napo said, they are human beings. When you do something over and over and over again, you become consistent. You form a rhythm, right? That rhythm becomes a flow, right? Now, that's just like, let's say we're playing Call of Duty, for instance, right? If I leave Call of Duty for like 3, 4, 5 days and I come back, you're not gonna be as snappy as somebody who has been sitting down for 24 hours playing it. You're gonna take a little bit of time to warm up. Same thing goes in sports. When you play World Cup and they say, "Oh, you're done with World Cup, take 2 weeks vacation, take 3 weeks vacation," you go do all kinds of things you're doing. When you come back, it takes a little bit of time to get your rhythm back into the flow, right? And that's all I'm giving them as a pass, right? Because I watched the game, right? And they didn't play badly. They just couldn't break Hull City down. And if you think about it, right, the goals that they conceded were set pieces. Set pieces. Yes, defensive error, but it's still set pieces, right? Did they dominate the game? Yes, they just couldn't score. So on the performance level, they did okay, right? The point I'm going to make is the fault I'm going to give him is the substitutions, the timing of the substitutions, and the personnel he started the game. This personnel that he.
Nah, this is I'm just gonna throw this rebuttal. And I'm saying that because Manchester United have suffered for so many years. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm not a Manchester United fan. I'm a Man City fan. No hating on them or anything like that. But
Yeah, then, but go on.
why you backing them up? For what purpose?
For me,
Yes. Like
me,
I get all your rebuttals. Do you think I sat here to tell myself
I,
Maresca, I need to give Maresca time for him to
I can,
perform against Arsenal? No.
Folzy, I cannot believe that a Man City fan is sitting there asking me why I'm backing Manchester United. Who else will I back? Man City has been on Arsenal's turn for the past 4 seasons, right? The only person or people that I can call on to help is the likes of Chelsea.
It's not Chelsea.
It's the likes of Chelsea, the likes of Liverpool, and the likes of Man U, right? We're yet to see what Chelsea is going to do tomorrow. God knows, right? But the only people that I can bank on to help, this fight is not only on Arsenal. We can't do it all by ourselves. We can't be the ones always stopping Man City, right? Other people need to step up. Man United need to step up. Chelsea need to step up. Liverpool need to step up.
So who is going to stop you guys? We're not relying on we're not relying on Chelsea or
Now,
Manchester United. We're
now
relying
look,
only on ourselves.
the only thing that
No, 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 no.
me,
We're relying on ourselves too.
to me, the only team I feel like is challenging us right now is the likes of Brighton.
Oh, for real?
And
For real?
let's say,
Because they give these ones to Abi. It is
Now,
well.
now let's jump to our next topic. All right. So two more heavy defeats. We
yeah,
have Tottenham after
Mm.
spending and buying half of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mhm.
still ended up chopping 4-0. And then we also have Aston Villa.
Mm.
Sorry. I think Aston Villa is 4-0.
Yes.
Aston Villa chopped 4-0. Then Spurs chopped 3-0. So now I think I'll open it to the floor. Folzy,
Folzy,
what do
you're
you have to
muted, by
say?
the way, if you're talking.
What do you have to say?
What game do you want to go with? Aston Villa or Tottenham?
Anyone your heart's content.
A team that took them all the way, that pushed them into the Champions League last year, has basically been ripped apart. And yeah, that game shows how much their team has changed. No concern, no Ollie Watkins, who is potentially going to Saudi.
Morgan Rogers.
Morgan Rogers, who's gone to Chelsea. And yeah, I feel bad for Emery because he's done a good job with Aston Villa, but now his team has just been ripped apart and it's going to be a long season for them with the way things are looking. They are going to need to replace a lot of those players. But yeah, Brighton dominated them. It was such a tough watch because even though I hate Unai Emery, I've told Temi this before. As a coach, I hate him, but I have a soft spot for Aston Villa and how much they've progressed from fighting relegation to now being in Champions League and everything. But this is going to be a long season for them if they don't sign a lot of players in the next week or so.
Why
Napo, what do you
why
think?
do you guys always have a soft spot? This is that. That is this is that. If now Man City will not go cause us, right? It's obvious. It's fact. No,
you have a soft spot for Man City.
no, you don't.
I do.
You don't.
No,
Me,
you
I
don't.
Sha.
I do.
Don't sit here. Listen,
I have a player in Man City that I love so much.
Ken, leave
I like
all that
Bruno.
your
Maresca.
No, a
Ken.
player, not a coach.
Ken, carry all this your cinema and movie
Sentiment.
way. Not be sentiment as cinema and movie way they want act now. Do am for backstage. Cause na person we no know you go believe you. Listen.
You're starting that I don't have source for Man City. You want me to
Listen.
call you my favorite player for Man City?
Who's your favorite player?
Donnarumma.
Okay. Now this is what I'll tell you.
That was the most random favorite player I've ever had.
As in the most random
That was
one.
so random.
I'm
Guy,
expecting like a top player.
I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
this, right? And I feel
Yes.
like people need to start being honest with expectation when it comes to the Prem or when it comes to football in general, right? Football, you buy, you sell, you win, you lose, you dominate, you fall, right? Aston Villa, they made it. You know why Aston Villa are where they are? Because they didn't learn from Newcastle. Do you see what happened to Newcastle when they sold Isak? And guess what? It was Isak and who else? They sold someone else, and I think they brought in Elanga, right? And guess what? They fell back. You could see the obvious falling, right? They didn't learn. You in that position, you're going to Champions League, mind you, not Europa League. Champions League, the big boys. They signed literally all your star players. What have you replaced? What are you trying to replace them with? What have you
Garnacho.
done to replace them with? Garnacho. Okay, great. Star boy.
That boy,
But that's my thing. I have no feelings for them in regards to that. And it's because it's obvious, right? Because you're making money, but you're not reinvesting that money back right when you need to. You know these players want to go, right? You know Morgan Rogers is going to Chelsea. Why don't you rush into the market and go buy his replacement? You're bringing in Garnacho for loan. Okay, great. That's the route you want to take. Fine. And guess what? When you take that route, so be ready to face the fans and to face whatever results that comes with it. Look at Man City. When did we score our last goal against what do you call these people?
Bournemouth.
Bournemouth. Like literally in late, I think it was like 90 something or something like that.
92,
Bro,
90.
those are the things I'm saying. I'm a Man City fan, but I have no pity for them. I'll be honest. I wake up, I take my phone, I looked at the lineup. I went back to sleep. That's what happened on that game day. I woke up, I looked at my phone, I saw the lineup, and I went back to sleep. That should tell you how I felt. And guys, all these sentimental feelings, guys, throw that out of the window, man. Be honest and be real with it. These guys, they're not trying to compete with the best. And if you're not gonna put your best foot forward, you are going to suffer the consequences. It's just as simple as that.
To be
I,
fair
I
to Aston Villa, sorry, to be
no, keep
fair,
going.
they did try to replace all the guys that's left. So Morgan Rogers left, they replaced him with that Swiss kid that shined at the World Cup. What's his name? Mazambe. Is it Mazambe or Mazan?
Yeah,
MZ something.
Mazambi.
I forgot Mazambi, and he got injured. Then Tillemans, they replaced Tillemans with what's his name, Gomez, the kid that played for Wolves last year.
Mm-hmm.
With Watkins, it's just a case that's just happened now. They are most likely going to replace him with Nicholas Jackson, one of my favorite Chelsea players. But they've
Everybody
tried their
gets
best, but
favorite
with
player.
well, I don't understand that Donnarumma pick still, but we'll come back to that later. But yeah, like with Aston Villa, I think they've also realized that's the one thing Newcastle tried to do. Newcastle failed to realize till it was late. With a lot of the lower ranked sides, you are always going to get foot chain. The big sides are always going to come for your players. It's just left to you now to how quickly you replace them and how fast you replace them and how fast your team adapts. The one side for Aston Villa that I kind of give Emery a slight this thing is most of the players, a lot of them are either injured or they just had to put a makeshift team together. This isn't their best team. Yesterday's game wasn't their best team. The kid they signed, the Japanese goalkeeper, he didn't start yesterday. Most of their signings from the summer haven't started yet, and the team is still getting used to each other. So I think eventually they would adapt, but right now, yeah, they still have a lot of work to do in the transfer window.
Speaking of buying players, we should jump to Spurs. They did buy a lot of players this summer. As we said in the last episode, they bought half of Europe. And this squad, do you think this squad needs to gel, or do you think Spurs spent money without fixing what was broken? Because mind you, they finished 17th twice this season and the season before and the season after them. Before that one too, they finished 17th twice. What do you think, Napo?
I mean, obviously they're gonna need time to gel with that many signings, but I feel like Spurs have bigger problems than just what they're buying. Because it's like, think about it. You sold arguably one of the best strikers in the league. Okay, who did you replace him with? These are the things I'm talking about. You still have Richarlison as your main striker, and you believe you are going to finish fifth on the table by magic. It's not gonna happen. That's why they finished 17 2 years in a row. It's not gonna happen. And it's like you can't. They don't have a goal scorer. That's a big problem they don't have, and I feel like they've not fixed it. They brought in this little guy from Bayern. What's his name again?
Tells
Matis Tells. Because I believe Hurricane.
Chelsea wanted him.
Yeah, even Kane vouched him for him to go to Spurs. But I mean, the guy's he's not playing. And when he plays, he's not proving himself. He's not doing anything. And things like this, it doesn't take you anywhere. It does not. And I feel like they're gonna keep struggling until they are able to address areas like that. So hopefully players like Mamouche and Savinho that they got from us, our garbage. Hey, I mean, that's how I see them because they didn't come up clutch for us, but hopefully they can do more better for them. But I mean, if that's the way forward they want to go, why am I to say no? I will collect the money.
Dr. Ken, your face is telling me otherwise. You have something to say.
This hearing this keeps solidifying the reason why I hate Manchester City. Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, your true colors is out.
This thing is filled with atrocious dealings, right? That I pray that before January, they would release the verdict of that 115 charges and then everybody would know what is going on. Why am I saying this? They have chosen a dumping ground, which is Tottenham, to dump all these players, right? And look at how much these players are going for. Let's forget about that for a second and focus on Tottenham, right? We talked about the signings. Half of their team came from Manchester City. I call them now the new Manchester City's annex.
How?
Right? What do you mean how? You're funding a rival team in North London, and you're sitting here asking me how. This is the same team that prevented Arsenal from winning the league last 2 seasons, which you stole because Son, for some reason, decided to sleep in the last moment instead of scoring a goal that he has been doing week in, week out throughout his entire career. Well, let's not go there. You're sitting here asking me, you guys
Hold
are
on.
going on.
Have you forgotten that we funded you guys too?
You did not fund us. We paid in full. And the players that you gave us, thank God Atata was so smart to realize that these guys don't cut it. And now we dished out Zichenko, Gabriel Jesus, who else? But guess what? We have been fair. We gave you guys Adebayo, gave you guys Krejci, gave you guys Sanya, and you guys became what you are today. Foundation.
Yeah, we didn't
right?
become what we are today because of those players, though.
It was a foundation.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
You can sit here and argue with me, but
No,
you and I.
it wasn't. It wasn't. You're trying to take credit for Arsenal. Nah.
Became. But let's go to Tottenham, right? I feel like you asked Temi, a question. Did they fix their problem? I think Mamouche is the answer to that question. If you look at the signings that they've done, they fixed the midfield, they fixed the defense to an extent. They still have the goalkeeper, right? What's his name? Icario?
No,
I
so
think
Vicario is
they're
gone to
selling.
Juve.
They are selling Vicario.
Okay, that
So
goalkeeper
they
was
have
a
this
good,
young
what they had
kid,
last season was a good goalkeeper.
Kingsky, right?
They
Kinski.
lost
Yeah, Kinski.
Romero, their captain, which is a huge loss, by the way. So if they have a plan to replace him with a leader or somebody in that caliber, right? Defense is okay, to my understanding. The midfield, they have Tolani and who was who have? I mean, they
Fernandes.
they have Matheus Fernandes, right? And they also have this guy, Madison. I saw him on the bench. So he's back, right? And then they have Matheus Tel, they have this Ghanaian guy, Kudos, right? He's still there, right? Even though we can sit here and banter Richarlison, he still comes in clutch for them at the times you don't expect. So I think he's also a good backup striker to have. Bringing in Mamouche will give him good competition. Mamouche, to me, deserves a team like Tottenham, not Manchester City. Because are you going to come and sit on the bench and be subbed in when Haaland is having his off day? The question now would be, how many times would Haaland have an off day, right? So in a 38-game Premier League season, you might be looking at maybe 10 or 15, 10 at most, if you're lucky, 15 games, which majority of them will be coming in as a sub. So I think going to Tottenham is a good option for him. I think he will start above Richarlison, and he would now prove what Pep saw in him that made him buy him in the first place. Because to be honest with you, I don't know why Pep went for him. Too bad we didn't live to see the Mamouche, the Mamouche plan, the what's the name of this other Ghanaian that went?
You mean
Semenyo? All those players bought and now left. We didn't see what the plan is. That's why most of them are being shipped out, right? But as an Arsenal fan, no love for Tottenham, as always. I'll keep it 100 with them. I don't have no love. I'm enjoying what is happening over there. I hope they continue to still figure it out, So that's what I can say for them. Aston Villa, on the other hand, my love for Emery is up and down, right? I feel bad for how his tenure ended in Arsenal. I felt like they should have given him enough time because, truth be told, he is the reason why Arsenal woke up. He came in, he brought Martinelli, and whether we like it or not, he's the reason why Saliba is in Arsenal because he brought Saliba to Arsenal. He elevated Bukayo Saka that we know today, right? So yes, he played a part in what Arteta is building now, right? He is a good coach. However, I feel like if you look at Aston Villa's signing policies, their transfer policies, it's not like the likes of Arsenal, Manchester City, Chelsea. The board they are directly involved in the transfers. And I feel like they have a lot of loss that they are trying to accumulate a lot of profit from player sales. So they are selling these players, but they are not releasing funds for him to chase his target, right? I looked at his press conference after the game. He felt completely bad, terrible. They asked him, with the likes of Ole Walkers leaving, what is your plan to replace them? His answer was silence. That's all I can say, silence, right? It tells you a lot of what is going on in the club, right? But, it is what it is. Premier League is a jungle. If you don't sit up, they swallow you. So,
All right.
you know,
That's like Premier League is a jungle. All right.
it's a
Let's
jungle.
quickly jump to the Newcastle and Liverpool's match. Was Liverpool lucky? I can see head
I
nods.
mean, I won't say they're lucky. They're finding their feet. They don't have a defense, so they are still a good team. So, and Newcastle is not an easy place to go to. It's not.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this is a hell in a cell, right? So if you go there, take away 3 points, that's huge, right? So I don't think they're lucky. I would have wanted them to lose, just to favor us, but I think a 2-2 draw was a fair result.
Napo, what do you think?
That PK looked too little to be a PK, and the
Too
timing
sauce.
of too sauce. The timing of which it happened and the ref letting it go. Yeah, I get it. It happens, but that was just too easy to be awarded a PK. I feel like they shouldn't have awarded that a PK. But overall, this is one of those moments where you'd be like, chunky to the deuces. We got our 1 point on to the
We are
next one. So
Folzy, what do you think about Liverpool as a whole?
Like Napo said, it was that penalty, but yeah, Newcastle played well. It was a good game. I think it was probably after the Arsenal game. It was my favorite game this weekend. It was both sides going at each other. I didn't expect Newcastle to do as well, especially with the new coach and then with the new players. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I think Osula is going to continue from where he ended last season. That's the striker that eventually, if I want to see how he does this year, I could see Arsenal going for him maybe next year or something like that. If he keeps developing, he reminds me a lot of Henry with the way he plays and the way he's on the ball and the way his tricky feet and his pace and everything. But yeah, Newcastle look good and Liverpool are lucky to have gotten that pen. They're very lucky. But yeah, it should be a good season for both teams, to be fair. I think I saw things from both teams that showed me glimpses of what they might have this season.
Dr. K, I have a question for you about this Liverpool team, first of all. Like, it felt disjointed. Like there was no team spirit. Like, I didn't feel like they were like a threat. Liverpool before when they are playing, you'd be like, man, don't score any goal at any time. I didn't feel like that. Like, even I already always almost turning off my TV that Newcastle won this game. Then the dodgy penalty happened. Mind you can make an argument that Hall was trying to push his feet closer to the player and it obstructed the player, but that's a different topic. What do you think?
Well, like I agree with Napo and Folzy. It's a soft penalty. I would not have given it if I was the ref. And bearing the fact that I think the guy that committed the foul was what's his name?
Kirkus.
Lewis Hall.
Lewis Hall, right? If
Yeah,
you
it was
watch
Hall.
if you watch that game, that guy was one of the standout performer for
He
Newcastle.
was the best. He was the best player
He
on the
was
pitch.
probably one of their
All
best
to get
players
to
to
that
that
point, and
point.
it happened. It's sad, right? But that is football. But to answer your question, I feel like that because one is the first game of the season, new manager, people trying to understand the coach's tactics and instructions. Everybody's, getting used to the system. Another thing you should understand is this. They've lost Salah, they've lost Robertson, and, there's a little bit of, whispers in the dressing room, like, what's the next plan? They've lost Konate, right? And they brought in this guy from Barcelona. What's his name? Araujo, right? Brought him in from Barcelona. So defensive, that's why I said the defensive side of their game is a little bit shaky, right? But like I said, I'm not really meaning into their first game because they played out of everybody that played this weekend. They had the most difficult game. Let's be honest. Going to Newcastle, first game of the season, it's not a joke, right? But they went there with the intention to win and they came short. But I would start judging these teams from game 2 to game 3. That's when you start getting that. Because right now, I don't know what the identity is for Liverpool. I don't even know what the identity is for Man City, right? All I saw is a coach who is trying to force, his own idea and tactics into a bunch of players who he's still trying to learn how to fit into his system. So give them time, 1, 2, 3 games, and then I can begin to come down on them heavily.
All right. You know what? Why won't we talk about Arsenal today, the champions? How do you guys feel? I'll start with Paul. They won you guys that Community Shield 3-0. They went again to Coventry, or Coventry went to play them 3-0. Are we seeing a different Arsenal now from the Arsenal that usually just score 1-0 around football, corner, headers, all those kind of stuff, fight? But now they are scoring, they're playing like 3 goals, 6 goals in the last 2 games. When last have we gotten that from Arsenal?
Football is unpredictable. I'll
Mm,
start judging them after 3 games. Right now it's still too early. I mean,
fair
they
enough.
may be champions, but we all know they are bottlers too, something they're very good at. So at this point, the only thing I can say is they played and they got 3 points. We got 3 points, and other teams also got 3 points. So my fellow brother here, Ken, said that the only teams that he can say that they are up to, they're in competition with right now is Brighton. Yeah. I mean, if that's where you want to classify yourself with Brighton, I can't blame you. Hey, that's where you want to be at. That's where you want to be at. It is what it is. But a champion will classify himself amongst champions. Okay.
Mm,
I don't see Brighton as a champion for me. They are not on my level as a Man City supporter. But hey, you're an Arsenal fan. What can I say? It is what it is.
Folzy, what do you think about your team's win? I know you guys don't have much to say. It was a spectacular match, so we can just give a quick analysis.
Continuing from the beating we gave Man City last week. Please
Simple.
continue shine. We dominated his name last week. What's it called? What's your right back's name? What's his name?
Nunes,
Martinez Nunes.
yeah.
Continued the same way he played against Nunes last week. He continued against Coventry City's right back this week. Yeah. So this is going to be fun. I think I mentioned it to someone during the summer that I think now that we've won the Prem, Arteta is going to release the handbrake a bit. We're going to play more attacking football. We're going to play more fluid football. We're going to that haram ball that everybody has been claiming we played last season. You're going to see something different. And the last 2 games have shown what I mentioned earlier this summer. And I think it's going to continue this season, especially once Bruno Guimaraes is up fit. I can see him throwing some of those passes, and man, we're going to score goals for fun this season. I'm excited.
Man, just smile. The smile that Arsenal fans are having nowadays. Dr. Ken.
I'm not too carried away by what is going on, but I would give credit to who credit is due, right? You asked if it's the same old Arsenal or are we seeing anything? The answer is I'm a huge critic of how Arsenal plays because I've watched Arsenal evolve from Marcel Wenger, Unai Emery, and now we've seen Arteta. And I saw how Arteta started his career with Arsenal, and then he changed it a little bit. And then now we're seeing this season, even though it's too early. And this is what I will say, all right? We've played 2 games, Man City and Coventry. 6 goals, 0 conceded. Out 6 goals, none of them were set piece, right? Out of those 6 goals, the game was heavily controlled in the midfield. And this is without our main starting 11. Let's keep that in mind, right? Up till now, I can confidently tell you that I don't know who is actually going to be our starting 11, especially in that midfield. Raya is undisputable. That's for a fact. And Zolis is stating his claim on the left wing that he is irreplaceable. That's also another fact, right? Odegaard is the captain. So Gabriel, Odegaard, Raya, and Zolis, right? The rest are people who can be shifted at any given time, right? But the important thing I've noticed in these last 2 games that we've played back to back is our set piece routines, especially the corners, are no longer floated in for someone to crash and head it. It's a square pass, build, set, and try to shoot, right? We did a lot against Man City, and we did it a lot against Coventry, right? Even our crosses are no longer in the air, they're on the ground, right? And Zolis is a master in squaring those balls on the ground. So I think Arteta is trying to implement different. I mean, it's like I said, it's still early. I'm just analyzing the last 2 games, and I see that there are different patterns of tactical changes that Arteta is bringing in, which it will be exciting, to watch. And like you guys said, haram football. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. When we play against the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool, and all you guys want to do is sit back and try to catch us on the counter. I mean, what do you expect? When we You know, the only team that can stand us man to man is Man City. That's why I don't like the numbers, because they're too proud. You know, other teams respect us. They sit back, but you know, it's going to be an exciting season, like Folzy said, and you know, hopefully we entertain you guys with beautiful football, like we've always loved to produce. I mean,
I'm gonna throw something real quick, okay?
go on.
I
Go on.
love the fact that when you come on a live session like this, what people have to say is different from what they send in text messages and in. I love it. I love it. See, just the other day when I called Ken and I said congratulations, he said it's just friendly now. It's preseason trophy. Now today it counts as a Premier League game, and we played two games so far this season, and we're 3-0 up. But when called and I was talking to him the other day, it was a friendly. Listen, I don't care. Okay, you can say whatever, do whatever. That's your team. Okay, but I'm gonna say this. I keep saying this because it's football. Football, you can never get carried away. It always comes when you don't expect it. Teams like Man City, teams like Madrid, teams like Arsenal, teams like, Bayern, it's happened multiple times. And I'm saying this to put it this way, right? I'm happy Arsenal have something to speak of. We are champions, right? But I think one thing that Arsenal, and I use the word Arsenal, I'm not going to say fans or the team. The one thing that Arsenal, I don't think they realize, or I think they've forgotten about, is being a champion and being the consistent champion. And I put that statement in that way because in 10 years, Man City won it 6 times, something most teams cannot do or have never done. We don't know if they're ever going to do it. But I feel like Arsenal has, I've said this already, Arsenal has the capacity to do it or even better because Pep is not there anymore. But if Arsenal gets carried away, this is it's not going to be bottled anymore. It's going to be something else because they've hyped themselves all the way up here and they're not going to deliver. But I do hope that they are able to put their best foot forward as a team. I mean, I see it this season. They're doing it so far, but I do hope at the finish line they're there because if they're not, like I said, you can call yourself a champion and put yourself in a bracket, or you can be the champion. Who knows where they
I
are?
want to add some. I would like to add something to what Napo said about Arsenal. Like obviously, I told someone yesterday at an event that this Premier League is Arsenal's to lose. Basically, it's theirs to lose
Hmm?
because they have the strongest. They have the strongest foundation that you can ask for any team in Premier League this season. Secondly, the only problem I see with Arsenal is in sports. In sports psychology, they always say it's a lot easier. Not like it's easier, it's easier for you to get to that your trophy that you've been wanting and craving for so long, especially if you've almost gotten there so many times. Now, how do you pick yourself up again to now push yourself to win the next one? Because you've gotten to, it's like saying you're on top of the mountain. What else are you seeing? Like, how can you now climb further higher? That is now that's where we intend to watch. That's how we're going to watch Ateta this season. It's like, okay, now you've gotten the champions, you've gotten the Premiership. What is your next goal? How do you motivate this player to try and push? Because most of the players, so how do you even motivate them yourself? You understand what I mean? Because you only have one or two new players that are coming in that have not won anything. Other players have won it. So it's like, okay, I've won it. They might be relaxed. They might try to like say, okay, well, let's focus on Champions League instead. We won the league before, which I think would be a mistake if they start focusing on Champions League instead of focusing on the league. I think they should get stronger with the league. Then Champions League, you just keep taking it one game at a time, and eventually you guys will get there. Even though I don't want you guys to have any European competition, so that we London fans can still have banter against you guys, because you're the only London team I don't think have won any European trophy.
And
All right.
Temi, you
Uh,
see that statement you made about one step further. That was the exact statement I said about Vini. If Arsenal made that move for Vini, that would have been that one step further, and they didn't.
Don't say they didn't. That's a wrong
Is
statement to
he your
make.
team? No, he's not.
You
He's
said
not.
they didn't.
Yeah,
It,
you guys. He's not in.
sound like
He's not,
hands. It was
brother. He's not in an Arsenal jersey. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but it wasn't in our hand. You said they did it.
Yeah,
They didn't
did you guys sign him?
grab him, but we couldn't grab him.
No,
we
but
can't. But it's not in our hands. We offered to sign him and give him match his wage demands, right? But don't forget, this guy has a heritage in Madrid. And how many people walk in comfortably in Real Madrid and poach one of the best players they have? None. Man City can't do that.
if, like I said before, right, it all depends on the team, right? And I feel like Arsenal did what they could and they left it at that. Because I've said this, and guess what? And guess what? I said this when with this whole Vinicius issue, I said it. I said there's no way Vinicius is going to Arsenal. That's a downgrade. And you guys laughed at me. I said it.
No. The game changer was them agreeing to his demands in Madrid. That's what he wanted.
So technically,
they want to leave.
Technically, Vinny used you guys to get his contract.
He did not use us because don't forget, Arsenal was not in Vinicius Junior's conversation last season. This contract talk has been going on last season. If you guys can remember, it was going on last season. They dragged in. They offered him 2 contracts last season. He rejected it, and then the season finished. He went to the World Cup. Arsenal was still not in conversation with him. Arsenal got into that conversation after the World Cup. And this was after we signed Zolis, right? So Arsenal were all looking at Vinicius. Arsenal saw it as a potential opportunity, saying, hey, this guy is having a problem with Madrid and contract. Maybe if we tempt him, then that problem of that left wing is permanently solved. Right now, I feel like Arteta is still trying to solve that problem. That's why he's trying to ship out Martinelli. And I promise you this, right? I'm trying to read what Arteta is trying to do. If he succeeds in grabbing that 60 million from El Hilal, or whatever that code is, for Martinelli, the next news you're going to hear is this guy from Juventus. No joke. That's what I feel like he's planning.
Which guy?
Yildiz.
Kenan Yildiz.
Yildiz, right? That's what I feel like he's doing. He wants to solve that problem, right? But I've seen Zolis preseason. I've paid attention to him. I've even gone to Club Brugge to watch his highlights. He is a very intelligent player, right? I'm not comparing him with Vinicius, but I'm somehow glad. This is why I'm glad, right? If you bring in Vinicius, we will not. This Zolis boy, will no longer live up to the expectations and the level that he is growing right now. He's going to be on the bench, right? But right now he's playing and people can see what he's doing. To me, so far so good, right? I'm not happy with the Martinelli situation. I feel like Martinelli still has a role to play in Arsenal, maybe as a backup, maybe challenge Saka on the other way because MANCITYQUE is a no-no for me, right? So I don't know what I'm trying to keep him. I'll be honest with you, he's a no-no. I don't know why he went to the World Cup. I would have dropped him for Kopama. Straight on. I watched his friendly match that he dribbled. They gave him a true pass. He dribbled the goalkeeper and he squared the ball, not sluggish, and he hit the post and went up. Right there, I would have sent him home. Because you know what he did? He walked around and was smiling. Who are you laughing? Who are you smiling with? You missed an open goal. He goes to Chelsea. He's dragging penalties with Chelsea players. Comes to Arsenal. He hasn't scored one single penalty. They played the penalty. He missed it. They played in the I've forgotten which match we played. He missed the penalty in that game too. Right?
He didn't even stand up to take penalty in the Champions League finals.
There you go. And he didn't even step up to take the penalty. How can we have a player like MANCITYQUE and then Gabriel is taking a penalty? Gabriel's penalty take in that finals is his first in his career. Can you believe that? And then we have the likes of Noni MANCITYQUE on the bench, who is dragging for penalty spots in Chelsea, refusing to take it at the biggest stage. So to me, I will be looking at shipping out this guy and keeping Martinelli. But hey, he's Arteta, he's doing Arteta things. Let's watch and see, right? So I feel like if they sell Martinelli, they will go hard for Yildiz. They'll bring him in. And like I said, I'm happy that we ended up not getting Vinicius because we will no longer give Zolis the playing time, which we are seeing now. Everybody now is on Zolis' wagon. We saw what he did against Man City. We saw what he did in Coventry. The boy is a baller. So he needs that playing time to develop so that we can see what his potential, the reason why we bought him, right? So don't sit here and tell me that my club didn't try. They did get into that conversation.
I never said that. I never said you guys did not try. I said you guys did not take that step forward. And like I
But how do you take a step forward with a player who's adamant on staying one place? Look at what is
why
going
did
on
you
in
okay, if he's adamant on staying, why did you go for him? I mean, I don't want to drag this whole Vinicius conversation.
no.
All I'm
We
saying,
went
all I'm saying is all
from option saying, hey, if you don't want to, if these guys, we like you as a player, you're going to fit into our project. If you're not getting what Madrid is offering you, we are willing to offer you that contract, right? We're not saying, come, we want you, we'll pay this amount. We're saying, we are an option. We want you. We will take you with your offer, right? Now, Vinicius can say, okay, thank you for giving me that kind of confidence that I know that I have a home if this one doesn't work out. But let me push first and see, right? Now he pushed and Madrid clapped back and said, okay, fine, we've heard you. There you go. And Arsenal heard and said, all right, you good, we're good. Simple.
I love how you put it nice. Like now, baby. I love how the layout. Yes, you know
Hey.
why he has an option. I love it. Nice. Hey God. See, Temi, I'm telling you, you see all these things we've been saying in this group, in text
Yep.
message, and you see the difference of what is happening here.
Hey, but I'm not part of, I'm not part of that. I tell you how it is. It's only how it
Hey,
is.
you know,
Tell you
it's
exactly how it is.
All right. I know the one team you're waiting for tomorrow is Chelsea Fulham. What do you think? What's your prediction?
I'm excited about that.
I think Chelsea is gonna
You
win.
are?
They're gonna win comfortably.
The reason I'm excited is because the last episode that we had, you guys told me about Alonso Ball.
The fluid Alonso ball.
Be at work, but I will create time, even if it's just to watch the first half, just to see that Alonso Ball, just to see that three at the back, and just to see how. Are you away? You're away, right? You're away. I just
Yeah, I
want to
think so,
see
yeah.
how he's going to set up his team. His lineup, his first starting lineup is going to be very interesting because I would love to see who is going to play in that middle. He's going to be the point man. I don't even know at this point who is your defenders, right? So that's why I said I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And we'll be here, especially me and Napo. I mean, we've signed our check and we're sitting and waiting.
3 points in the bag.
You
So you
know,
guys are relaxing. Okay.
you guys can go sort out some issues with the likes of Liverpool, Tottenham, and Manchester United. But we are sitting cool.
All right. Let's go for one more topic. So let's just call it. We're going for the second features for next year. Also pick some of the big games, and I just want to know your winner so we can have it on record.
Okay.
We'll start with Napo, Manchester United, Ipswich.
Ooh. No, United is gonna win. They'll win. They'll win. Who's at home?
Okay. On United.
Yeah, they'll win. They'll win. Comfortably, actually.
Okay. Folzy, Tottenham, Newcastle.
Who's home? Tottenham. Who's home? Spurs.
Yep.
A draw.
Who's wrong?
I'll go a draw.
You go with the
Who's
draw.
wrong?
Tottenham.
Tottenham.
Spurs.
I'll go
I'll
a
go with
draw.
Tottenham win. They
Okay.
need a bounce back. I'll go with the Tottenham win.
Now, what
Now-
Newcastle pulled against Liverpool, even though Newcastle was at home,
But they're a terrible team.
I still don't see
It's
Newcastle.
not the same Newcastle.
They're a
It's not
different
the
team
same.
with a new coach that has a vision. I feel like Newcastle is going to put Tottenham in the blender.
Ken, Chelsea hosting Brighton.
That'll be very interesting game.
What was your pick? Scores.
I mean, Chelsea has always had Brighton's number, so I'll go with Chelsea.
Okay. This one is for Liverpool, Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham Forest has been shit. They've lost a lot of players.
Yeah,
I'll go straight Liverpool win.
Liverpool.
Okay. All right. That's the final whistle.
I didn't
My
hear
one,
picture, and I didn't hear Manchester City. Okay, that's fine.
because those are not the top pick. Those are not the top big pick.
That's fine.
So wait, if
Who
they
are you
can't,
guys
if they,
playing?
if they can't
Let's
ask
check
you
it.
prediction now, you can't give prediction, you go lose. Okay, wait, you go talk.
I mean, we'll sit here and I'll sit here quietly and I'll take the banter and I'll be very angry with the team. But do you believe that?
Not my
That
team.
was-
I don't care what you guys do.
Do you believe you're going to win? Yeah,
Of course, I believe in my team.
There you go.
We may have a shit manager, but I'm a Man City fan anytime, any day. I believe in us.
Temi,
I
do you
guess the
believe
funny thing,
Do you believe in the game against Fulham?
Temi,
I'm thinking. I think it's going to end 2-1. That's what I'm thinking. Like Chelsea's going to win 2-1. Chelsea win 2-1. I hope unless we should score more goals, but 2-1 is what I'm looking at. You know what? Let's just call the Arsenal game. You see, there's a reason why I didn't call Arsenal and Man City, because I'll tell you why. Arsenal is playing Aston Villa. So are you trying to say that? And Aston Villa is at home.
mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that?
We lost.
You
We lost.
never seen
We lost.
magic before.
You know
But
what?
hey,
I hope Emery comes with a revenge and use you guys as his redemption arc for this season and win. You know? Okay. Then Man City.
you know what is
And I didn't
funny?
call Man City because
You
Man
know,
City is playing Crystal Palace.
a lot of teams in Premier League right now don't want to play Arsenal. That's the truth. But let's move on. They all saw the
move on.
community field. They know what is coming.
Come closer. Why is Maresca playing 7 defenders in one match?
Maresca.
Yes. Why
I
is he
don't
playing
I
7
don't
defenders in
I
one
don't
match?
know what is going on in that man's head, because what is going on in that man's head, I think he went into Pep's head, stole what is going on in Pep's head and added it in his own, and now he's so confused he doesn't know what to do.
It's chaos.
Because I'm telling you guys, I like literally I woke up, I pulled my phone, I was like, Man City were playing, and I pulled my phone and all I saw was the lineup. I clicked my button on the side of my phone, put my phone on the side, and I went to sleep. There's no way. There's no way. That and it's the same thing I said last time when we talked, right? Against the why, and the same player that you're putting on the bench, that's the same player that gave an amazing pass for our goal winning game. And then you are there, you're celebrating, to your fans, but you had him on the bench.
You shouldn't do more to the fans.
No, don't do that. You're claiming credit for something that you didn't do in the first place. Let him start. He deserves to start. Foden is not our best midfielder right now. Is Turkey. Put him on the field. Let him continue to give you what you want, what you deserve. But you're not playing him. You're not starting him. Let Foden come off the bench. But hey, you know what? Like I said before, I'm not the coach. I'm just a fan. But hey, if I can see it, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are seeing it too.
All right. Thank you very much for everyone for coming in today. That wraps up today's episode. This season is going to be an interesting season. I think this season, I think they should make Netflix for this season, because mark my word, this is going to be one of the seasons for the books. Tell us in the comments the biggest shock of this weekend, or should we still talk about the panic at Old Trafford? Well, you know what? We'll read your comments in the comment section. Like, subscribe, share with your mates, and whichever team you feel lost. Let's see after match 2. Passage, return it, debate it, repeat it. We are out. Thanks.